Okay, we are live. Biddy dive, dive, the dive, 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 diddly doo. All right, cool. Well, today we have like the latest update on my stream setup because I've been tinkering. Oh boy, he's a tinkering. Is we got multi-chat set up, so hopefully I can see everybody's chat in chat, and that's cool. And if I can't, well, that's one more thing to figure out. All right, Peekity Picotron, Tron. Oh, you know what? I forgot to post the links in the Discord. Let me do that real quick. Let's go back to here. Boink, 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 boink. Do, 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 do. All right. I think we're okay. Hopefully this multi-chat thing doesn't slow everything down. If you notice a loss in performance or something, let me know, please. Because I would rather find... there's a potentially other solution. And I think it actually might be better. But one thing at a time. We're just testing this out, you know. All right. So let's see here. What I think we're going to do tonight is we're going to... So I think we're going to work on the GUI manual. Because we're going to need the GUI system. We're going to need to understand it better to be able to do this project better. Let me swap that over there. Actually, let me move some real quick. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So I think that's what we want to do. And I'm pretty much... I think I'm pretty close to being done with it, honestly. I used Grok to kind of analyze this and break it down, and now I'm actually reading through it and cleaning it up and verifying things and whatnot. I don't read other people's code very good, so that's why I'm using Grok for this. I read my code, like, okay. And only if I've worked on it recently, so. Baby steps, you know. All right, so this is the GUI system manual that I'm making. You know what I should do? Unofficial. Unofficial. GUI manual. And this is going to be 0.1 because I already posted 0.0. System/lib GUI Lua provides a super minimal GUI system for Picotron, inspired by simple frameworks like Kodo. I don't know what that means. It focuses on well-defined behaviors to allow early freezing of the API. To support scroll boxes. I don't know if that matters. Core goal is to support scroll boxes filled with buttons and input fields with input. You know what? That's too verbose. Let's just leave it at this. I'll just say this. It. Alright, key features. Elements with parent-child relationships. Event-driven, supports click, double-click, drag, tap, release, mouse wheel, draw, and update. I think I want to replace backticks with these. Automatic clipping from parents, yada yada yada. Okay, so to use G equals create GUI. Attach a button and update and draw. Add your update and draw. Notes, elements are tables with methods. Use colon method. Still worried about not seeing this chat, so I'm going to move this over for a second. Events propagate to the parents by default unless true, returned from handler. Use message propagate to children equals true for tree-wide events. Oh, okay. Like draw and update. Z order, elements sort by Z, default 0. Use bring to front, push to back. This is a handy little chart here. GUI element is the base class for all GUI items. It's a lightweight table with meta table. Never instantiate directly. Use create GUI or attach. Can I shift scroll left and right? Nope. So we got X, Y, width and height. Relative width add, additive offset for relative sizes. Huh, I wonder what that is. There's our Z depth, the absolute position, read only, updated, and update all. Yeah, so you can't set the absolute position, but if you need to grab the absolute position on the screen, you do it with SSY, clip to parent, clip drawing events to parents bounds. I manually overrode this stuff with some crazy camera things or whatever. I can just turn that off. That's great. Oh, that's so good. Confine to parent, reposition to stay inside parent, no resize. I guess if it moves outside of the parent, it will automatically move within. I wonder what that is. Squash to parent, resize to fit inside parent. That's interesting. Confine to clip. Squash to clip, minimum width, minimum height. Ooh. I guess that'd be useful for like resizing windows. You can justify left and center. Oh, left is by default. Center and right, and then vertical justify, top is default, center and bottom. That's cool. Hidden, yep, that skips the drawing events, but runs update. Ghost draws but ignores events. Cursor, the mouse cursor, pointer, graphics set. Oh, so you can just set the cursor for the element? Wait, what? Do I have a... That's the actual GUI thing here. Let's close that. That's cool. Child is a table of all the child elements. I already knew about that, and so is parent. Parent is the parent element, one step above. Head, and head is the root for focus events. T0 is a number time creation for tap delays. Interesting. That's probably not used. Draw dependency returns a string. Skip draw if unchanged. Optimizes static UI. Draw dependency. It's a function. Defaults to nil. It returns string. I wonder how that works. Methods creates, so we have GUI element new, and then the element creates a new element from the table. So that's what we're doing here. GUI equals create GUI. Oh wait, no, that's new. Element equals GUI, new. Da 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 da. I wonder if that's not supposed to be user facing. There's attach. That's what we normally use. Attach as a child. New or existing. Right. So you can attach a child, and it will either create a new. You either put build the table in here with the new child, or you can put an existing one in there. I'd use this when I'm in, where was it? Under scene. Yeah, so I create the element as a local variable, and then at the end I return it, and then over here, where is it? Yeah, right here. Then we attach that element. So we're running a function here. We're not dropping an element in there, and then we create a local element, and then it returns it and attaches it. But that means you can detach elements, attach them to other things, and then reattach them back and stuff. GUI element has keyboard focus. Returns true if this element has keyboard focus and the window is active. Okay, so that I guess that would be good for text fields. GUI element set keyboard focus. Attach pull down. So I didn't know about this. I'd like to mess with this a little bit. But yeah, we have a pull down menu, a little drop down menu, attaches a pull down menu, draws a bordered box, sets up item attachment, and then you can item equals the pull down, attach pull down item, which is this next one here. So you can attach a pull down item to the pull down, and it sockets it inside of it. Adds a menu item, label action, or divider. Updates menu height, handles tap to run. I wonder if that is how menus works. I wonder if these are pull downs, because you got dividers right there. I wonder if that's the same sort of system. Then we have attach field, which is a text input field, supports set and get callbacks for value sync, handles keyboard input. I haven't messed with those yet. Attach scroll bars. I have messed with the scroll bars before. Attaches a vertical scroll bar to a container, and assumes child 1 equals contents. I don't know what that is. Auto hides if auto hide is true. Ooh. So if we're gonna use, if we're gonna have the scroll bar in the box here, we could hide it and show it. We could auto hide. I don't know if we want to auto hide it, but because like I wanted you to like press the thing and then it like goes to the next, and I don't want a scroll bar to show up and go brr, 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 while that's going on. But if we have one there, we could hide it. We could have like a little button that's like like a dark gray up arrow button or something like that. I probably want to look at some other RPGs, see how they do it. You can click that and then it'll like let you scroll back. And then these are the scroll properties on high boom. And then they give you a little example here. GUI element attach button. That's the one that Christian was using in his video. Sorry, I'm checking a message real quick. Okay. Tap runs actions. Buttons. It's got a label, string, action, a function that happens on tap. Highlight Boolean for alternate colors. And then that's the hexadecimal for the foreground, background, and border colors. GUI elements attached text editor. Lazily loads system GUI.ed. Okay, for multi-line editor. Passes arguments to it. GUI element, detach element. So you can detach one. Oh, and it returns true if it successfully removed it. That's nice to know. Bring to forward, bubbles up in sibling list. Sinks down in sibling list when you push to back. GUI element event message. Now this is one of the cool things that Christian was looking at, is these events. Dispatches event, sets message has pointer, message mouse button, X, Y, and mouse button, handles clipping camera for draw. Propagates per rules. Message field set by dispatcher. Event string, example click. Relative position and button. Delta since last frame. I wonder what that is. Drag start relative position. Oh, if we're doing dragging on a button? Oh, probably for like clicking and then moving and releasing, like where it pops off. Wheel last mouse button. That's probably for the button on release. Propagate to children for tree events. I don't know what that means. Override self event message to handle. I don't know what any of that means. This is not very descriptive. Hey, Beanless. Why use the Picotron over another engine? That's a great question. So, here's why Picotron over other engines. It is not better than another engine, because all engines have their strengths and weaknesses. But you should use whatever is like easiest for you to make something in. Like you don't want, like development takes a long time, is what I'm learning, and you don't want to get frustrated with the engine that you're working with. And so Picotron, like I started with Pico 8, which was very lightweight, very easy to use. It doesn't have a lot of clutter and extra tool chains and like all of that stuff. The language Lua is really easy to learn for beginners, and I've been trying to figure out how to do this for decades. Like I'm in my 40s and I've been trying to like figure out how to program games since I was like a kid. And so when Lua clicked with me in Pico 8, I was like, heck yeah, I'm finally learning this stuff. It works out. Picotron is like one step above that. So instead of like the flat little console that is Pico 8, we've actually got like file management. Feels like an old workstation. But it isn't, like, it's still in alpha. It's not technically an engine. It's more like a development environment. Good Lord only knows. I have no idea. Like, I've tried. I tried everything. I tried Basic. I tried Python. They just never made any sense to me. I tried Godot. I tried Scratch. I tried Unity. I tried, like, the thing is I would, like, sit down. I had trouble getting into a program, but I haven't gotten others' perspectives. I gotcha. Yeah, like, I would sit down to be like, maybe this is the year that coding will actually click with me and I'll understand what's going on. And I would like figure out some things, like I understand how variables work and this, that, and the other, but then it would just be like I don't know, like tables would elude me or something else, or like it was always the syntax that I would get caught up in. And yeah, and something about Lua and the way that its syntax works just kind of fits with my brain. I honestly don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think that's all we're going to look at here for now. Oh wait, hold on. Let's continue to go through. Okay, so we got create GUI. We're almost at the bottom. Factory root for GUI elements, retains GUI object, extends that. Have I tried going back to other languages after understanding Lua? No, I have not. And it's not for lack of trying, or it's not for lack of motivation. I've been doing this for about 2 years now, which isn't too incredibly long, but it's important to me at this stage of the game that I maintain my momentum. And I don't really need to go to other systems yet, but I do have like a plan. Like I eventually do plan on breaking out. So let me pop over to here. So if we go to 64 by 64. Actually, I don't know why I'm over there. So there's my pipeline for game development is Pico 8, starting in Pico 8, and then move to Picotron, and then move to Love 2D, and then move to Godot. That right there is my game development pipeline that I'm working on. Pico 8 was super easy. I was like, I want to start that. I want to make a game or so in there, which I did. And then I wanted to move on to Picotron and make a couple games in that. That way, kind of like expand my horizons. They both use Lua, so that like I don't have to fight that so much. And then Love 2D uses Lua as well, so I can borrow knowledge from these and use it in Love 2D. But Love 2D is like a true environment. Like I would need to find my own music tools and make my own art pipeline. And like it's very bare bones. You really got to put everything together yourself. Pico 8 and Picotron. Pico 8 holds your hand the most. Picotron holds your hand less. Love doesn't hold your hand at all. And then Godot would be like moving to an entirely separate language. Like it doesn't use Lua at all. But that would be like if I want to make like a big cool 3D dream game thing or whatever. But that's where I'm at. So I'm in Picotron right now, and I'm trying to make a couple games in Picotron before I move over to Love 2D. I'd be very interested to see what your process of learning and approach to understanding another language, or one you've already tried after gaining an understanding. Yeah, eventually we'll get to that. Because I don't plan on sticking with this forever. I am kind of in love with it at the moment, if I'm being honest, just because it's such a cozy environment, and Zep is really good. Zep is really good at making these kinds of tools. He has a lot of really, really fun design philosophies that click well with my brain. But yeah, I mean, I'm not... It's not like I'm a staunch Picotron user and that I'll never touch anything else. It's just that it's what's working, and so it's like if it's not broke, don't mess with it. Just start making games. You know? My goal isn't to like be a fantastic programmer. My goal is to make fun games. One of my favorite little side stories like that, that kind of reference that is, you know, you don't need to be fantastic at code. You just need to make the game. There's what is it? Undertale is like the code in Undertale is horrendous, and like super messy. But the game's great. It's really designed well and it like works. I would say that if you really want to make good games, you should become proficient in programming concepts. Sure, yeah. 100%. Takes a lot. That's one thing that I'm learning. It's not just one thing. It's like lots of things. I used to talk about how when you do design, or like when you work on some things, it's like there's like the first 90% of the project. And then when you get towards the end, there's like so many little things that you have to do that it ends up feeling like a second whole 90% of the project. And I'm realizing that video game development is a lot like that. Otherwise, you may become held back from inability. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. All right, let's get rid of these backticks. And oops. And then I'm going to call this good. Nice. If you go for an RPG Maker game, you probably aren't going to be limited. But to make something like Minecraft, it will be more likely. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I feel that. I don't think I'm going to have any issues with that because everything I've been... Like, I'm not using an engine. Like, I make engines. And that sounds a little pretentious, but... like, in Picotron, it's not like... Like, there are some sprite routines and stuff like that, but there's no, like, built-in inertia. There's no built-in objects. You know, it's not like RPG Maker where you're like, make a player character, add these sprites to them, you know, assign this, like, where you've got that kind of stuff, and then you just build out the content around it with it, and the script things around the side. Like, we're literally building an engine here, and then we got to make the game with it. And that's kind of like the purpose behind this, is I'm using the first chapter of Princess Tomato, and do I have to make a renderer? No. Okay, so I mean, I guess technically, honestly, I don't know like what the specifics of an engine are. I imagine they're more involved, but you know, that's fair if that's like a part of it. We do have commands like SPR to draw like sprites to the screen, but we don't have things for like objects and stuff like that. So maybe it's like a weird middle space or something. I don't know. Like, I don't have to make a system that plays music. Like, it has a music editor, and then you can do like music and then play the song, you know, something like that. But as far as like the engine may be less in a technical sense and more in like a game sense. Doesn't exist. Like, I think it's got technical engine stuff. Like, it's got a graphical engine and whatnot. It almost feels like programming for like a console. Not quite sure what the details of what you need to make, but I would say it's a fair bit higher than an engine. That's fair. I honestly wouldn't know the distinction, but yeah, from like there's no game engine. There might be. Well, I don't know. I guess it's semantics. It depends on what that means. But it's all good. Let's see. But I do know that I need to make like the game systems, and then you make the game with it. So on that level, game engine usually includes making a renderer audio system and tying together the application at that level. Interesting. I don't know, man. Like I said, I've been doing this for 2 years, so that's it. Let's take a look at our design doc. Beep, 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 boop. What were we going to do next? We were going to make create push button styles. Flat for the dialogue box button and raised for panel buttons. You know what? That's a weird lower level inclusion, but it definitely helps to know. Do you have much experience making games? I think we can get away with making a regular button for this. Do I want to do that? Doing it for a year. Haven't released anything yet. Wanted to get into making an engine, other software, so I started that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm less interested in engines and more interested in the games themselves. Even to a point where, like, I've heard some game developers will get stuck in like tool hell, where they'd never make games, they just end up making tools. And so whenever I make a tool, I've given myself a personal challenge and constraint to make the tool fun. That way I still have to practice my skills of making things fun, even if it's a tool. If you don't want to be a programmer, then making an engine is a pointless endeavor. I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't. It's not that I don't want to be a programmer. I like programming, but it's just not my passion. It's a means to an end. And I think that there is value in making a custom engine for your game that your game runs on, like the systems for your game. You know, rather than using something pre-baked. But again, this just kind of gels with my brain, so I'm just running with it. I'm not worrying about it too hard or trying to min-max it or optimize it or whatever. I'm just kind of enjoying the ride. And oh, what a ride it has been. It's a it's a really time costly thing to get into. Easily will take thousands of hours for making engines. Guess it depends on the engine. One thing I've been learning is to keep my scope small. That was one thing that I learned with Pico 8. Was that the token limitations and everything built into it really force you to keep your scope small and to keep your systems tight and to like really, like, it's great for game jams and stuff like that. You know, prototyping and whatnot keeps you from getting scope creeped and crazy and stuff like that. But then you can always take the concept after you've proven it's fun and after you've tested it and played it and you've gotten a lot of feedback and everything, and then you can like remake it in another system. And I know a lot of people do that. To make a Vulkan renderer to the ability of Godot Unity, it would take some of it. Oh yeah, I wouldn't dare touch something like that. Yeah, I'm talking about less of, yeah, I'm talking about like game related stuff, not that's the kind of stuff that I don't care about. Like, I don't care about 3D renderer pipelines and stuff like that. But, you know, games need systems too. So in an essence, like, there is an engine that runs the games as well. So we're going to make, you know what, let's comment this out for now. And let's try to attach a button. Let's do L dot button container dot button equals L dot attach button. And let's pull up that document real quick. What was the stuff for attach button? There's attach pull down item, field. Attach scroll bars, attach button. There it is. So this is going to take an element, attaches a button, the properties, label, which is a string, action, which is a function that happens on tap, highlight, Boolean for alt colors, and then the color here. So let's do label, action, highlight, and then colors. Wish I had an example for that. So label equals test. Okay. And then if we do, what was the other one? Action. Action equals function S effect. What's the sound effects? Nope. 8. What did I do? Comma? Nope. Could not include. Maybe I need to put that there. Yeah. Okay, well, it's not playing the sound effect. What the crap is that? Function on tab. Let's check out Christian's video on this. I'm gonna pause the music for a second. Let's see, responding to clicks.
Have the button to be all blue. All right, so these are some things you can play around with to make them.
All right, so we have the label. I do want to mess with background color equals background, foreground, and then border. And they're hex. So that would be 0. I don't like hex. 0, 1, 0, 0. Let's see what that does. And then we have 0x, 0c, 05. I'm just gonna copy what he has here for now. 0x, 0c, 05. Okay. Background with it. I don't understand hex. Okay. Well, okay, so if that's 8, then that's 9. That means when I hover on it, it should orange. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, and then what would 5 be? Oh, so the border is C and 5. Let's see. Okay. 5 is probably gray. So if I make this 7, that should be white. Okay. So the first color is highlighted, and the second color is unhighlighted. That's what it must mean. So if we do... So if we do, let's see here, grab some colors. Let's make it a green button. So we're going to use 11. I'll use 26 and 27 with white text. Now let's use simple colors because I don't want to figure out the hex. Let's do 8 and 2. So the foreground, it's going to be 2 when it's hovered. So 2 and then 1. 2 and then 1. And then this is going to be 10, which is A. No. B. C. There it goes. And then this is going to be 8. And then we'll make this one 6. Nope, we'll make it 7 and 6. Actually, we're doing reds for these ones. That's going to be F for pink. Nope. G. Nope. Can't go up to G, so it's going to be E. There we go. All right. And then this is going to be... what's my cyan? Oh, I wonder how you do these. Oh, because then it's gonna be it's gonna be like 1.6 or something like 1A. Close. C. Yeah, there we go. So the first color is when you're hovering, and then the second color is when you're off. So first color is active, second color is inactive. Okay. But why isn't the action working?
Button look the way you want it to look. Now, let's talk about how we can make the button do things. Right now, the button doesn't do things. How does that work? Well, like with the GUI that we have, where there's a function attached to an object, right? The update all function. We can also attach functions to this button, so the button does something, right? And in our case, there's a whole bunch of pre-built functions that get executed when we do something with a button. And obviously, there's a function called click, and then we can put a function in this click. We can attach a function. There's multiple ways of doing this. I will just create a whole new function for this.
So he's not using the action.
We're gonna call it my click, right? And then we're gonna just do.
He's just using the click or like the tap. I wonder what that action thing is then. All right, well, we'll just not use that then. We'll just come here. Because, yeah, I mean, we could just say, like, tap. And the nice thing about tap is it automatically takes into account whether you release on top of it. Okay, well, And then I could just put the action in there. Now, the question is, do I like this style? Because we could essentially, let's grab this. Doot. And that's gonna, well, actually that didn't. Oh, why did I put it on top? Oh, because I didn't do the X. X equals Y equals 0. And that's going to be over here. I thought I put one there. What? What? What did I do? Unexpected symbol near exclamation or equals? What? What is? Oh, I didn't put it inside. I'm a dummy. I'm a big, big dummy. Because this all needs to be indented. Alright, okay, that makes all my little test buttons. Those are still rather large, though. They have the correct pixel padding, though, which is nice. What if... I need a hex calculator. I have plans to make a hex calculator. 39. Hey Google, what is 39 in hex?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Of course you didn't understand. You're an idiot. What is 39 in hex?
39 in hex is 27.
27. So for the border, let's do 27. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Yeah, okay. I was trying to take off the border to make it smaller. But, yeah, we're going to need more control. Okay, well, this isn't going to work. We're just going to have to build a flat style, which is what we were originally going to do. But hey, we figured out how to do the basic built-in button, so that's cool. That's nice. Let's do this. And we're going to call this... What did we decide on? Was it called? Flat? Yeah, flat. We're going to just call this flat. Let's go to our GUI parts. Else if self dot style equals flat, then self colon nope flat style, and then down here, yep, looks like we've got raised simple style. Self-clicked. Let's grab this. Our raised style. And we'll call this flat. And that should work. Yep. So we can get rid of the shadow. Get rid of the shadow. We'll get rid of the edge. We don't need the edge anymore. And it's going down 2 pixels. We only want it to go down 1. Actually, we might even not want it to... We'll want some visual feedback, but we might not want it to move. Let's see. Here's our fill, and here's our white border. We don't need the white border anymore. I think we're just going to do a fill. Maybe? All right, well, hey, that fits perfectly in there. Oh no, but when we click it goes off screen. Dang it. Okay, so we don't want it to do that. We want it to maybe we want it to invert. All right, so we want this to be 1. I don't like that, but we might... I don't like how the little edge goes off the bottom. I see, I like how there's 2 pixels right there, and there's 2 pixels right there. What we might be able to do is adjust the container. That might be the best thing to do. So the container... Where is... There we go. And then height -9. No, -8. Yeah, there we go. And then that's got to come down. Yeah, there we go. And that can actually be 9. We'll just eke it over 1 pixel. Doop, 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 doop. Yeah, that way it looks all nice and even. I like that. All right, and then if we go to our fill here, we want this to be 1 maybe. No, it's got to be something lighter than that. What about instead of random colors? Let's grab, what was this, 26? 24. 24. And then I know this is manually baking the color in, which is a no-no, but I just want to see how it looks. Don't like that. All right, I need to run to the restroom real quick. And I need a better scene than this, but we're just gonna go with this for now. Where's my show cards? Wait, no, that's a bad one. Not that one either. Where is it? Come on, I gotta go. There it is. I'll be right back. All right, we are back. You know what? Instead of flat, let's do dialogue style. Because this is going to be the style for inside the dialogue box. How's them bananas? What did I break? Oh. There we go. I kind of like the default Picotron buttons for in there, though. I like the way those ones looked. No, I don't like that. I think it does need hovered. Alright, let's take a look at this. We've got our update, we've got our draw. That's building the sprite. Cursor, collect. Pointer, collect is false, release is false. Hey, Unused Taco, what's going on? I'm working on Salad Kingdom. Trying to figure out a good style for these buttons. Maybe we don't do a border. Oops, that's the wrong one. This is the one we want. I mean, just get rid of the whole border. How does that look? What you up to tonight? See, it needs a hover. Let's pull up the browser. Let's see. We did. Let's turn our music off. Oh no, let's leave that on, because that's right, the music was garbled. That's the one that we were using. What you up to tonight? And we're gonna mute that. Many brewing seasons ago, there was blah 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 blue 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 blah 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 blue blah 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 blue blah da blee blah da blue 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 yum 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 yum. Doing some last-minute schoolwork and researching this old high-end workstation laptop I got at a yard sale. That's cool. Has a SIM card slot. Oh yeah, I've seen some of those before. We have cellular data. The old, what are they called? The ones Intel used to make before Lenovo bought them, the ThinkBooks. They used to have those. Alright. So we have a chunky Sprite. Yeah, ThinkPads. Their colors were like black and red, and they had like a little nub controller in the middle of the keyboard for moving around your mouse like a joystick. Oh, so we have a red cursor that goes over it. I have a T40 ThinkPad schematic as my desktop wallpaper. That's fun. So there's just text. Interesting. So we would definitely need hover then. What if we... let's see. What if we go back to our container? Where is our box? There it is right there. Border color. Where's my border? There's my border. And then the fill. Instead of doing it blue, what if we do like 21? See, it's supposed to be like... It's actually supposed to be black. Let's turn off that test rectangle. So let's turn them all off. Turn off the button banks. And then the scene. There we go. I kind of like the black on red, or the red on black, if I'm being honest. The orange action buttons are actually placeholders as well. Like, it's going to look like I need to fix the style of that too. It's supposed to look like, come on. There we go. Like these over here. Or a better version of those anyway. So yeah, like this isn't the final style. But right now, I'm trying to replicate this. Eight characters. But the thing is we need to take hovering into account. So what is, you know what? Let's go back here to the hovered property. Where's the, is there a hovered property in here? Message fields, event string for click. Message fields set by dispatcher. Let's actually look at system lib GUI. Yes, there is a message event equals hover event message. Okay. Maybe don't need. But there currently is one. So that means if we let's see here. How does the message thing work? I haven't used that yet. Self event. Self and then message to hand. Okay, that's right. That's right. So it's dialogue style. And then if we do message in here, then we can access it. So if message equals, was it hovered or hover? Hover. Then we can do this. So will that, no, it doesn't activate it. What if we just do, can we do self dot? Oops. No, I'm missing the syntax. It's the syntax that always gets me. Right. Element colon event message. So maybe I have to do it that way. So I could say local message equals self event. No, that's not right. I think that would be sending the event. Let's look at Christian's video real quick, because he was using the message stuff. Where is, let's see, responding to other events. There we go.
Objects, so you can still modify them after the fact. Now, is clicking the only thing that you can do with the buttons? Of course not. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do with the buttons. Let me show you some stuff. So here is a bit of a cheat sheet, you know, of all of the functions that you can also define here in your button object. You obviously have click, but you can also check for a double click. Drag and drop functions are possible. They're a bit more complicated. I will maybe treat them a different video. Release means if the mouse button was released. Tab is when you clicked and released without moving the mouse, so just like a very quick click, so to speak. And the mouse wheel is when you're scrolling the mouse
Tap is the
over
best one
while hovering over
for
the
like
button.
normal
Now you
buttons.
might be asking things like, hey, can I figure out if somebody clicked with the left or right mouse button? You can absolutely can do this, but you need to get some more information about what kind of thing
Yeah,
happened
so
to
this
the
is where he
button, what
goes
kind
into
of
the
event
message
happened to the
system.
button. This thing here, this click, that is, we could call this an event. An event happened to our button, and as a result, a function gets called. And that function actually receives some information about the event that happened. We just need to get it and need to decode it a little bit. So the way this works is, let me restore my old definition here like this, right? So now we're using this old function, my click here. And that function actually receives two parameters. One of the parameters is self. That is a reference to just the button that you just clicked on, which is very useful in many cases. I will maybe show you some examples.
We've already got that with the colon.
But also you get a message object.
Okay,
and that
then we got
message
the
object
message
has a whole
here.
bunch of information about what kind of click exactly it was that just happened. And we can just draw, for example, we can debug something. We can go MSG, that is our message. It has the property MB, that is the mouse button that was
Okay, so it's stuffed
MSG,
within
there we go. That was the mouse
MSG.
button we just clicked. So MB, if you just print it into our debug, if you click, see 1 means the left mouse button, 2 means the right mouse button, and 3, it's not the third mouse button, it's left and right together.
Right. Okay, so, but if we come in here, so it's message.event. So if we check message.event equals hover. What? Right. Attempt to index a nil value MSG. But I have MSG there.
So if you do that, you get 3. And then the middle mouse button is 4. It is actually a bit field of buttons.
Right.
And the first bit is the first button. The second bit is
Right.
the second button. And if you have 1 and 1 together in binary, you get 3. And then the third mouse button is the third bit. But yeah, if you just want to check for the right mouse button, just checking it for if it equals 2 is fine enough, I think. So yeah, this...
So debug equals msg.mb. And I have... if mb equals 1. Okay, so there's something with my syntax there. Message. Yeah. Interesting. Why can I not get MSG? Because that's part of the element. The element is a GUI object. Dialog style.
MSG.mb gets you which mouse button was used. Funny enough, when I was using this, I had some problems getting the MB from the release event. Like if you release the mouse button, it wouldn't actually record which mouse button was released, which is a little bit annoying. But just letting you know. Oh, by the way, I think it also has the hover. Let's see if hover works. It works. So hover is also a thing that you can also have.
Wait, so can I just say if self.hover? No. No, because that's the hover event. So we would say when it's hovering, it would. Okay, so okay, yeah, all right. So that means I'd have to do it that way. Okay, well, we'll do that. We'll just say, yeah, we'll just do the states. Self dot hover equals false. And then we'll say if self hover, if that's true, then self dot hovering equals true. And we'll just pack it together like that. And then down here, I can check for hovering. Why did I forget to close? Oh, did I? What? Cody part end expected to close. Did I? Oh, did I not put an end? Frame window push button update. Oh, I didn't want it then because it's inside the parentheses. What? Dialogue style. If we're not clicked. Actually, that shouldn't matter at all. That shouldn't have anything to do. We'll just put that here. If self-hovering, then we're what is going on? I know I've done this in the past. Oh, it's because it's not a property. Man, I'm such an idiot. We'll do self colon hover. No. I need to make a whole nother function for it. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so we turn off hovering in the update, and then instead of click, we got click and release, we have tap. Here's where we're gonna put it. We're gonna do function L hover self dot hovering equals true. Nope, equals true. And why aren't you doing it? Maybe it's because I'm resetting it here. So it checks the hover first and then does the update. Okay, so I need to turn that off after. That'll, I guess, be at the end of the draw. That seems dumb. Which means I should move this down here too. But see, I don't like that because if it skips the draw cycle, then it's not going to release that. Ugh. But at least that works. I mean, we're only at 18% CPU, but... Is clicked? Does it not check hovering if it's clicked? I guess we could say if self-hovering or self.clicked. Yeah. Okay, well. That looks doable. Alright, well at least we got the style done. Now, if we come back to our... Here's where we're making our buttons. Now, we want these to be 8 characters. Oh, no. We need to be able to change the label of these willy-nilly, and my stupid system that I put in place bakes the label as a sprite into it because that's what I needed for a different application. So we can't even use this. We can't even use this. I would have to redo a whole bunch of stuff. Let's try... Let's just do attach button again. What were the properties for attach button? Push to back, attach text editor, attach button, label, highlight. Okay. And we're going to put in a table here. And we're gonna do x equals this, y equals that. Label equals this. Nope, that was style. Label is going to equal this. And then we have foreground color, background color, border. I remember the problem. The problem was it was too fat. Can we add padding? Zero x 0 0. Let's do 1 0 1. 0x. The background we're gonna do. What is 24 in hex? $18. And this is going to be 0. Foreground color is going to be white, so that's 0x 707. Of course, we didn't put commas. Everybody loves commas. And I need to flip those. So that's white and white. That's 0 0. And that's going to be 0 0. That doesn't look too bad. It's got the 1 pixel in the middle. What if I do 13? That actually feels okay. Yeah. Does it look okay? I think that looks okay. What if we do justifying it? What if we say copy and we'll do that and we'll do this and we'll say 0 and 0. That's going to cram them all up in the top corner. But what was that? That was like a justify. Yeah, justify and vertical justify. What does that do? What if we say justify equals center? What does that do? Oh, that's interesting. And if we do okay. I kind of dig that. So, we can't use that for the vertical because there's 4. And since it's an even number, there's going to be no center, and we don't have just like a top, middle, and bottom. But we could use that for the columns. So we could say So we're not going to do that. We're going to keep the Y. Okay, okay. So we got our Y spacing. And then if we do... What happens if we do this? Does the justify... Okay, the justify overrides it. So I can get rid of that. We'll say... Justify equals... I is equal to 0 and left, or I is equal to 1 and center, or I is equal to 2 and right. Okay, why didn't the center work? Okay. Okay. So does that mean that I bet it does, if I change the container dimensions? If I say, like, if I make this like 128? No, nope. Oh, that's the button container. If I make this minus 90. Nope, that's too much. Minus 20. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Say plus 10. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so if I adjust that window, I could probably do some like clamping to the parent or something like that. That would actually probably be a really smart idea. Yeah, okay. And I should probably not have just like a table sitting in there. I should probably have like a proper button somewhere. Let's see. If we, for the time being, can just put a tap equals function. Pause that music for a second. Goodness. I never undid this after testing these things out. All right. I don't have my little button badoops. Let's do... Let's grab our triangle wave. But let's set this to like 1. And let's set our speed to like what? And that sound effects 12. I like the way this looks, but I need more control over it. Yeah. I really like the way that looks though. Like that's a good clean look with solid feedback. I think I'm going to make a whole nother button. I think I'm going to make a dialogue button. Yep. Doing it El Manuel. So we're gonna get this stuff out of here. And actually, we can say, oh, let's turn the music back on. We're gonna make this attach, create dialogue button. And we're just gonna do this. Yeah. All right, let's get all of this stuff out of here. We'll just keep it there for the properties because we're gonna need that later. All right, we're at least we're gonna be stripping code out and not putting much code in. Dialogue button. We don't need a sprite. We need, let's do foreground color, background color, and border color. We're going to put XY first because I always like to put XY first. We got an action. We do not need a style anymore. We do need a label. And so we're going to put a label there. And I think I want to put action next. So XY, label, action, pad X, pad Y, foreground colors. Actually, let's put... Yeah? Yeah, okay. All right, so X is going to equal X, Y is Y. Width is going to be 0 because we're going to calculate that dynamically later. And actually, with these ones, it's going to be a static width. How wide are these? See, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pixels between the edge and the 1. And then each of these letters, that's 4, 5, 4. Let me calculate this up. Oh, wait. Yeah. All right, we have 6. And then we have 3 for the 1, 4 for the 2, 4 for the 3, 4 for the 4, 4 for the 5, 4 for the 6, 4 for the 7, 4 for the 8, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the other end, and then we have the pixels in between. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. They are 50 pixels wide. How tall are they? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We don't need an N because we don't have a sprite number. We're not going to use this. We're going to use foreground FG color, because why not standardize on that? It's going to, well, you know what? FG. Let's just keep it standard. Border. Background color. Foreground color, we're going to make the default is going to be 22. That's gonna FG, so background color or 6. No, the foreground color is going to be the text. So that's going to be 7. Background is going to be 22. Border is going to be 6. Or 6. Label is going to equal label or test. Style is not going to be existent anymore. Pad width, sure, we'll leave that there. What is pad X? Pad Y? I don't know what that is. That might be the text offset within it. I don't know. I need better descriptors, apparently. Cursor is going to be pointer. Clicked is false. Released is false. Hovering is going to be false. Action is going to equal action or action dot null. That's what it's called, right? Action dot null. Mouse over equals GUI dot mouse over. I don't think we need this. All right. Now, if I run this, it's probably going to break. Oh. Oh. Look at that. We have a little clicky, but it doesn't do anything. Okay. At least we didn't crash. That's good news. All right. Get label size. If label, this is building the label user data. We don't care about this. We don't want to build the sprite. Is there any? So we have get label size, make user data, print to user data, set anti. Yeah, we don't want that because we want our text to be dynamic. Get sprites dimensions. That's updating the sprites. So the width. Yeah, that's updating the button's dimensions with the width of the sprite. We don't use that anymore. Our sprite or our width is baked in now. All right, so why is there 2 tabs there? That's weird. All right, function. Oh. I'm gonna try turning tabs back off. Yeah, let's leave that for now. Styles. We don't have styles anymore. Clicked. If audio enabled, then we'll do sound effects 7. We don't have audio enabled anymore. And we'll put this to 12. Released. You know what? Let's leave the audio enabled stuff in here. And let's say is that like a global up in here? Let's add that here. All right. Create dialogue button. All right. Audio enabled. Then we're doing, oh, that's on channel 7. So let's do this. I want to grab the sound effects from Kiro comments. Releases, Kiro comments. Show carton comics, sound effects. Let's copy that. And let's put our sound effects down here on like 320. All right, and that took 0, 0, 0, 0, which is triangle. Triangle is 8 here. So we'll go 8. 8. 8, 8. And this one used 7, which is the phaser, which is F. One was tilted saw, which is 9. And that one was 8. Nope. One is tilted saw. And that's going to be 9, 8. Seven is phaser, which was F. E. Horn. Oh. I don't have horn on here, so we're just going to get rid of that. Zero, 1, 2, and 3 are now 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's go back here. Do you have any other sound effects? Whoops. Okay. It wasn't playing that before because the audio enabled was off. All right. Let's see here. So we got click, audio enable, we got click sounds. We have our action stuffed inside of tap. Hovering equals true. Simple style we can get rid of. Raised style we can get rid of. Wild style we can get rid of. All right. But we're not drawing anything, so let's do a test rect. Zero, zero, self dot width, self dot height, 0, 8. Okay. All right, let's see here. So in our we don't have an X and a Y yet. That's fine. So let's do, nope. 0, and then J times 13. Oh, but I want to directly manipulate some of the things like the justify. So what we should actually do is we should make a local L equals create dialog button. And then our label can be hello, right? Is that what our label is next? Probably aren't needed. All right. So we got da 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 da. And index button container. Button container dot button equals local element. There we go. There we go. Okay. But that means we could say L dot justify and then put this in. Equals. There we go. And now we have our spacing. Can delete that. All right, so we don't need these crazy colors. We don't need this anymore, or that, or that, or that. Okay. So under our draw function, let's go ahead and draw this thing. Let's do 0, 0, Ooh, I don't remember the size of those ones. Let's do 0 or 2. Self dot background color. And then we can turn off the test rectangle. I wish I took a screenshot of those ones. Let's get some text in here. Let's say print. I wonder if I could like create elements for the labels themselves and justify them so that they would always be centered. Or if I should just, nah, I'm just gonna print it for now. Let's do self.label 0, 0. And then self.foreground color. Okay. I kind of like the idea of letting the GUI system handle it, though. Not gonna lie. I really like that idea, actually. We could... Yeah, because we have access to the parent. Let's do that. Let's do before what would that be? Do I already have an element for that? Static text? I could just use a static text. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Let's grab this. So there's a test rectangle there. Turn that off. Let's do text. We can keep it text. Okay. Width, height. Okay, so if we do L dot label equals, all right, we're gonna have to change some things around a little bit. So we're not actually going to have the label here. Label is going to equal create static text, which is going to no, it's going to be attach like that, right? So L.label, we're going to create a static text GUI object, and then we're going to attach it to the element, which is the button, and we're going to call it label. So that means when I want to change the text of the button, I'll do button dot label dot text. Because that's what the static text uses. Okay. I'm just going to put 0, 0. But down here, we're going to say L.label dot justified equals center, and then v justified equals center. The width and height, I want it to match the parent. Wasn't there a thing? Confined to parent. Reposition to stay inside parent, no resize. Squash resize to fit inside parent. So, confined to parent, clip drawing events to, okay. Confined to parent and squash to parent. Both need to be true. Justify hidden. Confined to parent and squash to parent. What's the default on that? False, okay. And then squash to parent equals true. And then our width and our height, we can just do zeros because it's going to resize it. The text is going to be label from up above. That's going to pull whatever is in here. And actually, this is where we would put or button. And the color is going to be, we're going to pull that from foreground color. But actually, we could pull it from, since we're already calculating that here, we would want the foreground color there. So element.foreground. L.foreground color. All right, it's not working. Or is it? What if we do 20 just to like see if it does something? Okay. Okay, so why is it not? Okay, let's do L.width and L.height. Why is it not justifying it though? What if we turn these off? Still not centered. Down, I mean, there's not much to this, and then it returns the element. It's not like it's going to be all crazy in there. Am I spelling justified correctly? Justify. That's what it is. Nope, that's not what it is. Okay. Justify. Justify. Can we do L.label dot hidden equals true? Okay, so we know where we're affecting it. All right, so we want the width and the height to be the width and height of the text itself. So this is not correct. So let's get rid of the width and height. And we're going to say the width is going to equal print t negative 100 negative 100. Can we just do it like that because it's not going to be in a draw protocol or a draw function? Can we do that? Local width and height equals that. Mm-hmm. Why is it not vertically justified, though? Let's do print instead of self text. Let's do self dot width 25. What's 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Why is it 11 tall? Why is that so tall? I think we might need to update this dynamically. Update equals function self width and self.height equals what are we doing? What if we squash and confine now? No. I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh, why is that self.h? Okay. It's like putting 3 pixels down below the text. Why would it do that? Is that how the fonts work? Where's my font? Program. Carts, tools, font studio. H has 1 pixel under it. Not 4. X and Y. I mean, that kind of works, but I don't like that. What is going on with my button heights? My buttons are a little too high. Oh, because I manually baked it in. 12? $11? 10. And then if we do this to 13. All right, well, what if we have, like, but we don't have any, let's see, let's do jumpy, because let's have characters that go under. What? Oh. That's here. Yeah, we don't want to cut off the bottom one. So that means this needs to be 3. Yeah, but then it pushes it up, and I don't like that. So let's do 4. Yeah, I can't do that. Oh, I know. We'll do, where is it? Nope, it's down here. Where's that one where it's like you can draw outside of your parent? Clip to parent. Clip to parent equals false. What? Is this just lies? Oh, I didn't do label. Still just lies. I don't get it. Why? 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 Clip to parent. Drawing against the parent's bounds. I want that to be false. Why is that not working? Confine to clip? I don't want it to confine to clip. I want it to not. All right, well, if that's going to be dumb. And we can do that width, height, +1. Oh, so my clip is fine. I just need to adjust my X position. It's the justifying that's weird. Yeah, that's fine. Is it because it's an odd number? Ooh, did I just nail it? There's 2, 2. Then there's 3 on the bottom. Oh. That needs the cursor on because it's its own element. Oh. Oh, I want it to be a ghost. Yeah. That way we draw it, but we don't click it. Okay, we're getting somewhere. This might be a little frustrating, but we're getting somewhere. Let's do rect fill, and then we want our label action foreground background border. Label action foreground background 24. Yes. Border. Let's make that 8 for now. All right, and then let's do a rect with the border. All right, that's working. We're actually not going to have that though. I want to bump that text down 1. I don't like the justify. I'm not sure why. Is it an odd number of pixels? It has to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're 11 tall. Where am I getting my... But see, I have 2 pixel, I have 1, 2, 3 pixels on the bottom and 1 pixel on the top. That doesn't make sense. Now that has 1, 2 pixels above the text and 1, 2, 3 below. Why does that look good, though? That's annoying. No, I want that to be lower. Actually, I think that's right, but the whole thing needs to come down. The... Nope, that's the width and the height. What am I thinking? I want this to be at 6. Yeah. Okay. Well, hey. That looks good. Oh no! Did I just close it? I just killed my Picotron process. I hate that Command W kills Picotron. I think it's a Mac thing. Good thing I save religiously. I actually save so often, this happens so often that I'm never worried about it when it happens. Well, but that just borked my window. Hold on a second. What? Oh. Picotron. Stretch. Hit. Build. Stretch. Hit. Is that right? Is that the right one? Nope. Now it's showing the border around it. Why is it doing that? Okay, I think we're back. Weird. Alright. Carts, work in progress. Salad Kingdom. Load. Let's get OK Pal in here. Alright. Where were we? Dialogue. We wanted this to be 6. Okay, okay. All right. What if we did? What does this look like? 7. Nope. Nope, don't like that either. Let's get rid of the border for now. Okay. All right. So we have we have bumpins. We got bumpins. Now let's do if self.hovering, then self.hovering or self.clicked. And then we'll say if self.clicked, then self dot I want to bump it down a little bit. So we should probably do like local Y offset. Equals 0. And that will equal 1. And then we can say 0 plus Y offset. We'll just make this a Y. That's not what we want. We want to update the whole buttons position. So where would we do that? I wish I knew how that clipping thing worked. Clip to parent equals false. That would be awesome. Yeah, because see, then it would just draw outside of that. Let's take a look at the actual code for clip to parent and see if we can figure it out. Goal. Scroll box full of buttons and inputs. Need attributes like clip to parent and clip to self. Push to clip. Well, don't we have those though? Maybe they aren't fully implemented yet. If clip to parent doesn't... Okay, so that defaults clip to parent to be true. Oh! Was I supposed to be doing this false? Yeah, okay, that's... Wait a minute. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Self.clip to parent. CLCT. What does clip do? I mean, I know what clip does, but like, let's look at the manual here. Clip. Previous clips. We have X, Y, width and height. Previous clip. Sets the clipping rectangle in pixels. If drawing operations will be clipped to the rectangle. Da 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 da. When clip previous is true, clip the new clipping region by the old one. Clip the new region. Okay. So it would make the relative clipping to the previous one. Okay. So does clip to parent not... Okay. The camera is going to equal negative, like the, yeah, absolute X and absolute Y. Works, but it's too complex and spooky if it goes wrong. If inefficiency is needed, implement custom layout that handles long lists. Reference file nav. If clip to parent and CC, then clipped out can skip and don't bother drawing children. Implied clip to parent. Maybe clip to parent isn't what I thought it was. Set clipping rectangle to union of self and parent clipping. Clip by parent. Events should also be clipped when not visibly interacting. Unless only search children when inside, unless clip to parent is false, in which case children could be anywhere. Oh. Fixed was if true or is inside. Thanks. Okay. Need to test for every child. Scroll bar content. Okay. Oh, well, it looks like... Oh, man. I'm not smart enough for this. Is inside or not. No child, clip to parent, then... Yeah, this is... I think... I'm gonna ask Grok real quick. Actually, I want to go... Let's see what it says. Come on. You can do it. I have faith in you. Wow, I was really thinking. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. It sounds like Dig Dug. Shining Force Resurrection of the Dark Dragon. Huh, weird. Parents should allow the label to draw outside of the parent's bounds as the GUI object swapation temporary over. Yeah, okay. Absolute bounds. Thought I read this happens during the label's draw handle before restoring the clip afterward. However, based on the code, there's a few potential gotchas that could make it appear clipped, especially in the first frame of the vertical positioning. With height calculation, start at 0 is the only update. Reruns absolute positions after that using the updated width height. This means the first frame after attachment uses the correct sizing for position clipping and draw. Subsequent frames are fine if you're syncing dynamically. Flash. That's what. Okay, I'm not seeing a flash. Text measurement band-aid. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue though. This underestimates height, so V justifies center positions. So it gets clipped at the bottom edge of the label's clip rectangle. That's actually worth looking at though, because I'm adjusting the width and the height. No, but see, even without that. Wait, that shouldn't be related at all. Yeah, that shouldn't be related at all because that's the label. That's not the. That's not this here. Is something updating the width and height though? No, that width and height is static. Nothing updates that. Because it should be this one here. I'll make the text move later, but what else we got? Initial string size starting with forces recalc every frame, unnecessary for static text. This has caused micro jitter. No, that's not it. Factors goes to the true. Don't worry about that. Clip the parent on the button itself ensures the button ignores its parent's clip, but doesn't impact the... Yeah, okay. That's what I'm talking about. If a higher ancestor window frame has a tight clip and clip to parent equals true on the button's override wouldn't propagate unless you also set false there, but your code sets it on the button. Picotron's clipped previous clip with clip previous equals false. Fully overrides no intersect per the manual. If it's still clipping, test by temporarily adding clip full screen reset inside the label's job before print. If that fixes it, there's a lib bug or version mismatch. I mean, that's what I kind of did before to override this. I guess we could try it. Yeah. I was just hoping to not have to do that. But I guess if it works, yeah, we'll just go with that. All right. I wish I knew how to make those work though, because that would be nice. All right, and then if we click I want to make the text go down too. So I guess I would just make the whole, well, actually, if I made the whole button go down, then I wouldn't need to upset the clip at all, because the whole button would go down instead of just the rectangle. You know, this is a lot of rigmarole just to get the text to go down with it and to keep the text center justified. I might just do a little function in here to recenter the text. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, let's get this. Let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead and put. I don't think we need that. Well, you know what? We don't need that. Let's get rid of that. And then let's say label equals label or button. And then under draw, we draw our background. And then we draw our text, self.label. Let's do lx self.ly. Label X, label Y, and then we'll do self dot foreground color. What is that jumpy? Oh, that's the label. Why is it doing that? Why is it only drawing it on one of them? I mean, the label X and label Y isn't there, but that should just translate to 0. Label X equals 0. Label Y equals 0. And then we'll say L dot label X, comma, L dot label Y equals. Oh, we're gonna have to do width and height as well. So the width and the height is going to equal print L dot label 0, 0. That's going to drop the width and the height in there. And then we need to get the center of that. Let's see, how do we center text? It's been a while since I've centered text. We need to take the width of the button and subtract the width of the text from it. And that will give us the remainder. And then we cut the remainder in half and we add that to the X. So local, well, let's do the formula first. So we've got L dot width plus L dot label width divided by 2, no, minus. So that's going to give us the remainder of that. Divided by 2, L dot label X equals that. And we're going to do the same thing with the height. So Y is going to equal L dot height minus label H divided by 2. And let's actually go ahead and take this and put it into a helper function. So let's do, nope, I don't want to do it there. Function L center label. Alright, so when we center the text, we take our label width label height, and we update that. Then our X becomes our self width minus the label width divided by 2. And then we want to run it here. So we'll say L and we'll just say init stuff. And then we'll say we have label and old label equals nothing. I like the way it reads better, even though I don't like the way it looks. Old label. And then in update, we're going to say old label if old label does not equal label, self.old label does not equal label, then self dot that's what I named it, right? Center label. And then self dot old label equals self dot label. So this says if the label that can go inside. If the old label doesn't equal the label, then we center it and we set the old label to the label. So the next time it comes around, the old label does equal it, and we skip. And we took out that padding because we're using this now. We've been streaming for a while. 3.5 hours? Let's see here. Are we still working? Nope, we broke something. What did we break? Attempt to index a nil value local self. Oh. Colon. There we go. Except we are not centered. I wonder why it throws an extra 2 or so pixels in there. I don't know. I don't rightly know. Alright, so that gets us... Let's do... If it's clicked, self.label equals a random table. And we'll say button... Boop, boop, boop. We'll do a period. We'll say jumpy. We'll say macho. We'll say 2. And we'll say hearty heart heart. And let's see if that adjusts it. Okay, and they do seem to be centered. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, that looks good. I like that. Okay. I mean, obviously we need to make the text go down now. But we also needed to, like, not clip at the bottom there. So we could put the clip. And then we could say label Y plus Y. Yeah, that works. That works, that works. Dang it! I did it again. No, I do not approve. Alright, let's go back over to here. And Picotron. And properties. And fit. And then back to stretch. Fill. Stretch. Maybe it just needs to stay at fill. That looks fine. Yeah. Okay. Alright, well, we'll leave it at that. Ooh. I'm getting sloppy with my fingers. Okay. Again, religious with the stuff, so that's good. Religious with the saving. Biggity biggity boo. Push buttons. Where's my sound effects? There it is. That needs to be 320 and 321. All right. All right, we can get rid of this stuff. Now, I need to assign these buttons a unique identifier. So button, I should probably make L dot button container dot button equals table, and then this should be a button inside of that. And can I just do I plus J? So the first one, it'll be 0 and then 0. So if we did 1 plus I plus J, so it'd be 1 plus 0 plus 0. And then it'll be 1 plus 0 plus 1. Should be 2. And then 3. And then this will be 1. 1 plus... No, that's going to be wrong, because then I'll have a 1 plus 1. Yeah, that's not going to work. So I'll need to increment an index. I'll have to say local index equals 1. And we'll say that this is going to be index. And then we'll say index plus equals 1. All right. So that means we could do something like, what is this getting attached to? dialogue. Create dialogue. Body.dialogue. So this is body.dialogue.buttoncontainer.button. So we could say print body.dialogue.button container.button 1.label. Jumpy. If we do resume, and then we click this, and then we do that again, button. But if we do button label 2, jumpy. But which one is it? Is this one 2? Is 2 macho? Okay. Let's resume. Let's go here. 2. Okay, so it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which I don't like. So let's fix that. Which means we wanted to go 3 and 2, and then this needs to be I. No. What? All right, I always get these mixed up. So we're gonna do the row first. Oh, this is what I need to change. I need to go J and then I. And that's going to be 3 and that's going to be 2. And if we go jumpy, we'll go macho, 2, and 1, 2, 3. So if we stop this, and we do 1, macho, 2 should be 2, and then 3, 4 should be, yeah, okay. Okay. That's how that works. I could have left the I and J. And I would have had to change this to an I and these to J. Right? Let's try that. I, J, I, J, J. Yeah, okay. At least we're alphabetical now. Okay. And we don't have... Let's see. We're doing... The actions are null. But we can assign an action to one of the buttons. Yeah. So we have the buttons there. We need like a update dialog buttons function or system. Because here's what I'm thinking, like these need to be hidden. Ooh, we could hide them if they don't. if their action equals action.null. Yeah. So this is in the dialogue system. So let's see. That's the... All right, we're creating the dialog box. And here's the dialog box updater. Where would this come in? We have the updater. You know what? I need to stick with my conventions. And actually, we're never going to need to actually click the dialogue parent. That's our test. All right. That's all my old text stuff, which we're going to need to get to that soon, too. Gross. Yep, Phantasy Star. All the Phantasy Star music so far is going crazy. All right. I don't think I need to check it every frame. Let's just go ahead and get it in place, though. Let's call it... Show dialog buttons and hide dialog buttons. Display dialog buttons. Let's do... We gotta draw... Yeah, I don't know. These need to be colons. The colon is syntactic sugar to just bake the self in there. So... Oh no, we're in the dialogue already, so just show buttons. And then we'll do... hide buttons as well. So we'll say for button in all self dot what is it called? Container dot button I always get I like buttons when it's a table or like the plural for the tables, but then with like buttons 1, buttons 2, like with the index in there, I don't like that. We'll just stick with it. All right, self.buttonscontainer.true, or buttons container do if button dot action equals action dot null, then button dot hidden equals true. And then just a test, let's do a if key press. Let's do H for hide. That's actually because none of them have actions on them. So this is going to just show all of them. Hidden is going to equal false, but this, if they have a null action, then it's going to hide them. So then we'll do self dot hide buttons. And then S for show. And so if I press H, local self. Why? Did I? Oh, I didn't put the colon here. That hides them, and that shows them. All right, and then if we do if key press A, then we'll say self dot button container dot buttons so we can give it a table to pick a random one. No. Let's do this. Random. 12. 1 plus Because we want 1. There we go. So that's going to go 0 to 11. Dot action equals, let's do another action. Yeah, we don't need any of that stuff. Let's just make a dummy one. Let's call it action dot toot. And we'll do sound effect. No, we'll do music. And what's a song that we can pick? 0 it is. Song.0. And then in here we'll say toot. So if we say A, we crash. Attempt to index a nil value. Let's just try it with button 1. Okay. And so if we hide and then show, set the action and hide, and then show. Okay. So in our system, what we're going to do is we're going to, like for that scene, I guess when the scene loads, we'll load actions. No. It'll have to be like when we click move. It'll hide the text, show the buttons, and then load actions into the buttons. And actually this is a little bit of a nitpick, but that's 2 pixels on the side and it's 3 on the top and the bottom. I think we need to like widen this by 2 pixels. Let's take care of that real quick. Create the dialogue. That's going to be width 70. Oh, that's because of the justification. Okay, well, so that's not the answer. We have plenty of space in between here, though. So we need to do the button container. That's what it is. 6. And then this is going to be 9. Yep. That's it. Nope. 11? $12. There we go. Perfect. Hide, show, hide. There we go. Perfect. All right, yeah, so when we do the move, it should populate these with move actions. It should say how many directions do we have to move? maybe even have like a table of like 1 through 12. And then it will apply those and then show them. Bloop. And then we can click on those actions to move. So we'll need an action that is like change event. Not event. What's it called? Scene. Will be like load another scene, and so we can click here, and it'll like the action will be load scene with a thing. Okay. I might just make it, well, but that's going to be a lot of actions if it's got to be one for each scene. It'd be better if it was just like load the next scene and pull from the data. But that means I'm going to need to stash the action inside the button, but also the data. Like of what scene to change to. Okay. We're making progress. We're making it. So we have our buttons, and we can assign actions to them, and we can hide them, and we can show them. So we'll need a clear buttons. Probably as part of the loading the buttons. We would like clear all of them, load the ones that we want, because we could just like hide all of the buttons when we don't want to see buttons. Okay. Well, I think I am going to call it for tonight. I think that was a pretty successful stream. I think we made a lot of progress, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.